Hello, world. Good morning, and welcome back for another episode of the Founders and Innovators Morning Show. Today, I'm so excited to be here with Kelsey, who is the co founder and president of Davies and Dixon. And Kelsey, I know you have a really interesting story of entrepreneurship, but I thought we could dive in even with this idea that you have about breaking borders, or I heard you say perhaps hustling outside of cubicles. So tell us about this idea.
Sure. I've been a founder now for 5 years. I actually didn't know that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I hadn't considered that as my career path until my now co-founder approached me with the idea. But kind of what was always my path or my goal was to become this digital nomad and live and work abroad. So one of my hesitations in starting a company was that this was part of my personal goal and actually, adjacent to my professional career and goals too. But then when I spoke with a mentor about that hesitation, he said, why can't you build that? Like, why can't that be part of what you're building as an entrepreneur to give yourself an independent location lifestyle? So then my newfound mantra became hustle doesn't only have to happen inside a cubicle, and that breaking borders concept of kind of challenging the norm of where you have to sit as an entrepreneur in order to be successful.
So tell us a bit more about this journey. So where have you sat as an entrepreneur? Where has the journey taken you?
Sure. Well, right now I'm sitting in Seattle. This is where our headquarter office is, but we do work with some remote employees right now. So we have folks kind of distributed throughout the country. But this past year, it was like 2017, 2018, I spent 9 months traveling and working abroad. Went to Australia and New Zealand for about 5 weeks, and then spent the majority of the rest of the time in South America, mostly in Chile. So my husband and I rented a little studio apartment in this small town called Pucón, Chile. It's about 10 hours south of Santiago. And worked from there, or coffee shops and restaurants and whatnot. But then also did some road trips and worked from the car and hostels and things like that. So it's been quite a journey. And I think it's unique in the sense that we're a service-oriented business and we have a team. So managing that team and managing clients' expectations and services and over-delivering really on those promises as a service-based industry while working remotely has been a unique challenge.
I definitely want to hear more about that, but tell me just a little bit more about what it was like being in Chile. Did that experience influence part of your business? How did that get integrated with what your work was? I'm curious just how travel and entrepreneurship come together for you.
Absolutely. I mean, anybody that's traveled can agree that traveling just expands your mind and opens new perspectives and helps you kind of see the world in a different light, which then influences the work that you do as well. And especially, we're a digital marketing firm. Understanding many perspectives, or at least being able to see them in a different light, is really important when it comes to marketing and being able to market on a more global level. So that was helpful in just the sense of me working with my clients and developing strategies. But then also with my team as well, I came back leading the charge with our team to develop more of this global expectation for work remote and PTO policies within our company, because I was meeting folks from like Australia and Germany and different places in the world that have, minimum 6-week vacation time or PTO time with their companies, and realizing how far behind the States is with that type of expectation. So I wanted to set a more global standard for our company and kind of raise the standards there in terms of what we offer in a work culture here too.
I love that idea of creating a global standard. So tell us now more about your business and what your business does and how you are raising this global standard for what you do.
Sure. So we're a digital marketing agency, and we're soup to nuts, strategy to production. So we work with clients actually all around the world as well. We have one in South America, which my time spent in South America was appealing to them because I knew a little bit about the market, just a very little bit, of course, but they found that appealing in terms of us working with them. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially what we offer in terms of services, and been around for 5 years, so worked with lots of different types of companies and dipped our toes in lots of different types of industries. So it's always something new, that's for sure.
Now, you mentioned that you didn't intend to start off on the entrepreneurial path. So tell us a little bit about that. What were you doing beforehand? And how did you finally make that bold leap into entrepreneurship?
Sure. So I was working in the hospitality and travel industry prior. And I mean, I was 24 when my co-founder approached me about starting a company, so I was still very young in my career, still am, and just again hadn't really considered entrepreneurship as an option or just as a goal of mine personally. But my co-founder Mackenzie Davies, her and I worked together now 10 years ago as interns for a division of Avon in the headquarters in New York City.
Okay.
And then just lived in different states and kind of kept in touch over the following 5 years until she approached me in 2014 about starting this company. Her and I both serendipitously were moving to the West Coast, moving to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of reignited some of those career conversations and that professional relationship, but also personal relationship in that life change. She's from the Midwest originally, and I'm from the East Coast originally. So we were both making a pretty significant change to move out west. And yeah, as we were talking about careers and what we wanted to do, she was helping me get my foot in the door in Seattle. She was here about 6 months prior to me. And then out of the blue said, I'm going to start a digital marketing firm and you should do it with me. I already bought daviesandDixon.com. So it has your last name in it. Yes. So she's very persuasive. And at first I said no, because moving across the country was enough crazy for 1 year for me. But then she offered to, spend a weekend building a business plan. And after that, I was sold and I was like, yep, we got to do this.
So tell me more about what it's been like. Can you tell me what's maybe one thing that you wish you knew way back when she first came to you with that offer that you know now that you've learned?
Definitely. So I reached out to a lot of people in my life, both the critics and the cheerleaders across that spectrum, just to kind of understand what they thought about me doing this. And one man in particular, he was on the critic side of things for sure, but I really wanted that perspective to be able to take from it what I needed and understand why there was a critical piece to this. And he said I was too young. And when I asked him why he thought I was too young, he said it was because you lack the experience for like a portfolio of work and you lack the network. So the network was the first thing I worked on, and really building that. And when I moved to Seattle, I knew only one person, and that was my co-founder, Mackenzie. So it was crucial to be able to build that. As an entrepreneur, you need that support, and that's what I believe. So, I mean, I guess it's not really answering your question because I was told that, but then use that advice to really move that forward and move the needle. And that's what I would recommend to any other entrepreneur. And then one of the others on the other side of the spectrum, the cheerleaders, the advice that she gave me, my dearest mentor, somebody I admire so much, she said, think about how hard you're going to work as an entrepreneur. And then she paused and let me think about it. And then she said, now triple it. And that's going to be the reality. And that's definitely been the case. It's a lot of hard work. It doesn't come for free, essentially. And it requires a lot of time and energy and a lot of frustrating days, but the highs outweigh everything else for me. And having a really good partner alongside me, like my business partner, Mackenzie, has been a huge support and also, just really great to work with over time.
Oh, I love that. And what I hear you saying is that you have, it sounds like, this really incredible support network of people that you can turn to. Because it's true, there are some lessons that we can and perhaps only can learn from experience, but there's so many great ideas that we can get from reaching out to other people and from building this network, as you've been talking about. So tell us more how you did that. How did you go from just knowing one person out in the Seattle area to building up the kind of network that supports a functioning, profitable business?
Sure. I think it's about being a friend first, and just putting yourself out there to meet people. And we went to events after event after event after event here in Seattle just to try and build that network and meet new folks. And I think another part of it is being a little bit vulnerable too and sharing what you're looking for. So being a friend first, but then also being vulnerable, because I think that opens the doors for other folks to share what they need as well. And then you can help support them that way. But it was amazing how we told people what we were looking for, what we were looking to build, and kind of shared that vision with them, how kind of manifested it right into reality. But people really come through for you when you ask for those things, and kind of share in that with them.
No, and I love this point that building business relationships, in a sense, is just like building any other kind of great personal relationship. That there's always this two-way street. You have to go
Yeah.
out there and be a friend and be willing to be helpful to someone, and then you also have to be vulnerable and be
Mm-hmm.
open to receiving that other person to come into your life and help you make a shift or a change or bring something new to your life. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. Were you going to just business events, or how did you even think about like your plan to go out to events and network with people? How did you have a plan for the kinds of people you were going to meet, or was it just all serendipitous?
A little bit of both, I think. We just kind of looked at things that were appealing to us, but we mainly started in the hospitality and travel tourism industry because that's where I came from. And that was another one of my hesitations when Mackenzie asked me to start the company. I said, well, I really like my industry. I don't want to change industries. I like the network that I've built here. I like the idea of like what this industry is doing and the energy behind it. So she said, well, why don't we service it then? Like, why can't we be the marketing firm for the travel and hospitality industry? So we started a lot with building the network and going to events in that arena. Now, being in Seattle, we also accidentally sort of fell into the tech and like startup
Mm-hmm.
world as well. And, that was 5 years ago. So we've definitely built into that arena too, and really found that we're like, hey, we're good at this and we like it. There's great people here. Let's continue. So I think it was a little bit of both, like you said, a little bit of serendipity and also some intentionality behind it as well. And we weren't just building in Seattle. We do a lot of traveling domestically too. And her and I both have networks both in the Midwest and the East Coast. So continuing to nurture those and how we can just support and connect others in achieving what they want to achieve as well.
So tell me, what's your next big dream? What's the next goal on the horizon for Davies and Dixon?
Well, that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're looking to continue to build. We've seen 40% growth year over year since inception, so we want to continue on that trend, and that means building, a really great team with really great people. So that's kind of on the horizon in the next couple years. But just continuing to work with great clients too, and making that valuable change and positive impact. Our This is kind of cheesy, but our logo has a plus in it, and that stands for things like empowerment, positivity, change, and that's what we want to continue to embody. So moving forward, we would really love to work more and more in the tech and startup space because there are so many innovators that are doing some insanely amazing things that really are changing the world and changing consumers' lives and whatnot. So we're really looking to expand into that space and develop marketing strategies and campaigns that are bold and for the purpose of progress and making a splash.
I love that. So if people are interested in finding out more, tell us how they can find out more about you.
Sure. So my company's website is daviesanddixon.com, all spelled out. We're on Instagram as well at Davies and Dixon, all spelled out. Or my personal Instagram is at Kelsey Riley Dixon, all spelled out too.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So we are almost out of time, but where I'd even like to end this is I love what you're saying about wanting to focus on the community of entrepreneurs that are really trying to be innovative, that are really trying to create progress in the world. So tell us a little bit about your ideal client. Who is your ideal client? What are they up to in the world?
Sure. So we're actually in the process of revitalizing our website to really reflect this. And
Mm-hmm.
what we've found our favorite clients to work with are they're pace setters, they're trend setters, they're really disrupting a space or creating something that's completely brand new. Or they're doing something that's larger than themselves. There's a social mission or like a do good mission behind what they're offering. And we find that those same companies are really willing to be modern and bold and progressive with their marketing tactics and communication tactics. And that's really where we thrive as well. I mean, clients are an extension of our team. And we really value that partnership a lot. And we kind of integrate ourselves right into their team too. So that fit is really important to us. And that's what we look for.
Well, that sounds wonderful.
Yes.
Well, I wish all the best for you. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you
And
so much.
thank you, everybody watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe, review, and share this show. If you'd like exclusive content and behind-the-scenes insight, for just $4 a month, you can support us at buymeacoffee.com. Now, go make it a great day. Ask me why.